Goodbye for now, jungle. Hello, wastes. Right, what's the first thing we need to do here? Try to feed the dino, apparently. Craft a meaty dino treat. Ay, ay, ay. Please hold. Try again. And riff. It basically just becomes a very fast tour of the start of the zone. Don't really know why we're doing this, but yes, just to kind of give you an idea of what's out here. Level 125. That's it. Expansion complete. I think I was going to say maybe could have turned down the XP on quests a little bit. Like, I've actually really only done half the content, but I'm already maxed out from a level perspective. I don't know whether that's good or bad. What else do we need to speak with a kinema at the small camp near the ravine and Mahngavi West. Ravine back up where we just came from. The mining maxed out, and that's the metals I needed for It's a Good Quest. Oh god, I'm dead. Oh, that was close. Oops! That's I didn't mean to do that. Um um I see an orange mob there. No, maybe not. I think I was seeing things. Yes. I need to get back up again, and I can't fly. But now I think I have to go left. I don't think there's a way up round to the right here. Kind of minor pain in the arse because, as you can see on to my left here, it's mostly just sheer rock face, and you can't get up. Can't get up anywhere along here. You have to go all the way around, and then somewhere here on the left, around the next corner, is a ladder, I think, or something you just click on and it. Yeah, here we are, rope ladder. Bit of a pain in the ass because it's nowhere near where I actually wanted to be, I suppose, but that's what you get for being stupid and doing dumb things. Those. Hello, everybody. Went through. They actually gave this guy a little bit of a camp with a tent and everything. On beta, he was just literally stood on top of the hill on his own with nothing there. Looked a little lost. Right. Oh yeah, look, this had a bit of a facelift as well. Since I was last here. Right. So basically, to progress the signature line more, we need to do the side quests for here, effectively to gain their trust. Which involves slaying severed creepers at the cemetery, placing broken consecrated wards, and slaying the living dead, collecting copper tablets. Oh, and I need to harvest a few more roots. Is there a mender here? Yes, there is. Oh, he was back right up at the zoning originally, and then he got moved last minute down here, which probably makes a bit more sense. This is a really weird place to stick a kind of quest camp. Anyway, digress. Let's click on things, kill things, and see what happens. It's not, is it? Considering the where you zone in to this, and then where you have to go immediately after zoning in to find the next quest, it's a bit of a weird one. It's not clear how you necessarily get here unless you've done it before. Like, the living dead are now dead again and are no longer living. Yeah, I don't know. It is satisfying to just AoE those and in one shot. It's not something you get to do very often as a temper, so. What are we doing? I need 4 more hands. Any more living dead? Don't need any more written things. Could you not, please? All of us are trying to quests here. What do we got? Got a house item as a reward. Those. Probably transmute some of this stuff. Search Warpwood Cairnlands. Oh, that's the little island down below. Or one of the islands. Slay entire clutches of dreadful coven witches. Loot dreadful scrolls and tomes. Collect copper tablets. I must clean up any grimy tablets I can find amongst the ruins of Ghastly Fate Point, which I think is where the witches spawn as well, so. A 2-for-1 deal, I think, then. Try it. A one-winged bat. Tablet deteriorated before your eyes. It was not made of copper. Shiny in the distance. A one-winged bat. Who'd have thought there'd be so many one-winged bats kicking around? Oh. Some other people may have arrived on the scene before me. They got small chests. I assume these must be quest chests, because I've not seen a single damn chest drop since I started playing this expansion. No small chests, no wooden treasure chests, nothing. Only chests I've seen drop are like ornate ones inside of an instance. Oh yes, yeah. I mean, they're basically, I suppose, the same idea as these, aren't they? With they're quest chests, and they just drop a quest item, key or whatever it might be. Loot dreadful scrolls and tomes. I wonder if that's from the small chests these people have run away from. Maybe it's another area entirely. There's a oh no, yeah, there we are. So it was those small chests. Job done. I can hand those in, I guess. Yeah, like the concept of adept spells or advanced recipes, like, just doesn't seem to be a thing anymore. I know most people are obviously after like flipping Grandmaster or Celestial spells these days, but it seems a bit odd not to have the adepts drop. It's a clicky clicky. God, right, what have we got to do now? Oh, we still got to go down to Wartwood Cairns. Oh no, that Cairns is up the top actually, isn't it? Gather water from chameleon cacti in Cairnlands. Oh, okay. Explore Accursed Chantry Island, which is one of these. I think it's that island there. They're out there in a minute. But first. Oh, here we are, Wartwood Cairnlands. So what do we need to do here? Something about cacti. I think is this? Yep. Searching for other undead activity. Oh, is this where we bump into the crazy necro? Oh no, not quite yet. Soon. Oh, are they? Interesting, yeah. Obviously I've not got as far as out there and doing the trade skill dailies. And I didn't get to do the trade skill. The rewards for those missions were added quite late on in the beta process, so I never got to actually see what they were. The only time I ever did the daily or the weekly was when they had no rewards. That's cool. I don't. It's a pretty good idea sticking them on there, to be honest. Trying to encourages people to do them. I'm not sure what the upgrade path is for spells, really. I mean, from an upgrade perspective, it takes 30 days to go from Journeyman to Adept. Oh, sorry, that's Apprentice to Journeyman, isn't it? Then probably another 30 days from Journeyman to Adept. Then another probably 40 days to go from Journeyman from Adept to Expert. Obviously, you can craft the Expert if you can get hold of those advanced spells. Or you can pay someone 500,000 plat to do it for you, as well as providing your own materials. That's freaking nuts. Back in my day, we do it for free. Arrgh. That's a lot, but I know it's a freaking boatload of that. That's ridiculous. Such is the economy of live servers. I still don't quite understand yet. So what about the... Because isn't there like Grandmaster recipe scroll things now as well? If you have a spare master, you can upgrade to a Grandmaster. I mean, there certainly used to be, because that was what the research agents were for. But I'm not sure how that works in this expansion, or if it's even a thing yet. Maybe it's not been introduced, I don't know. Well, the normal research apprentice things don't... They stop at level 100, I think. They don't go any higher than that. Where was this guy? He was up here somewhere, wasn't he? Oh, good old pal, the comedy necro. Was he up here? Or have I gone too far? Was he over that side, maybe? Oh, here he is. Oh crap. Oh, I don't. I forgot that he attacked you. Crazy comedy flipping. Sorry. Right. Half the quests I've got are finished, and half of the money to go out to islands for. Being torn all over the flipping, all over the world. What to do first? And yes, if you can't fly and you need to get back up, there is a rope ladder here as well. To get you back up to this, up to the cairnlands. It's probably going to take me a little while before I can learn to fly in the same. May as well do the repeatable at least once. Locate the ceremony at the beach near decaying copse, which is fine because that's kind of on the way to one of the islands I need for the other quests. So. Before we do that, I am going to go make myself a cup of tea, I think. Starting to get thirsty. Right, I will be back in about 2 minutes. Oh, yeah. It was a little bit longer than 2 minutes. Where did all these people turn up from? Where do we even begin? It's like, shut the shit. Yep. Shattered Monolith Clay K, that's that big island. And then Pantry Island is the small one. Ceremony at the Beach, I think, is down here. We should probably do that first. Ugh. Splosh. Got multiple things down there. We have to use this weird potion thing. You must be at the ceremony site to use the... How close do we need to get? I mean, it's right there. Oh, there we are. Oh, it's turned me into a ghost. Sparky ghost. Mermite portal. Marmites. These Dreadfell witches need to stop moving quite so much. It's really distracting. Constantly on the move. Oh, yeah. Ooh. Spooky red portal. There you go. They have witnessed. What the? You occult sports skulking around the ceremony. Be gone! Where have you begone me to? Oh, up here. It's fine. I need to click on a few things around here anyway. So. Sage. Learning. Matron. Matron? It's more like a flipping transformer other than a rock. I don't know. Mind. Trees, I'm just trying to get to the shiny, if you don't mind. Thank you. A pet rock! Excellent. That's the collection item. Pet rock. With mummy wrappings. It's a distinct lot of sage around here, okay? Sage bushes. Speaking of sage bushes. More shinies, yo! Decent chunk of shiny spawning down there. Fortunately, I don't really need as many. So repeats. Yeah, like them apples. Gather Mahngavi sage around Kogoda Falls, which is here. If I could fly, I'd probably find some up here as well, but I can't get up there yet. Ah, here we go. Oh, not too late. Never mind. Right, return. Return. And the other quests are explore the 2 islands, which we'll go to now. Then I need to craft 5 scrolls of enhanced undead control. We'll do that when we hand in the other quests, I suspect. First, we must venture out to the islands. What's the waters? Fortunately, unlike with the instance, there's no boat to click on to automatically go out there. You have to go swimming. And there are many things in the waters do not wish you to go swimming. There is a boat here, actually. Oh, that goes back to the jungle. You did not meet the entrance requirements. Oh. The waters are dark and full of perils, you're not wrong. A lot of fish in the waters, and God knows what else. Destroy discordant stones. These are. Oh yeah, there we are. Yeah, those eyes remind me of being out in Bone Mire for the first time. Very Kingdom of Sky-esque. Oh, Frank! There's that mercenary. He wasn't up by the waterfall after all, he was down here. Why you stare? Frank dislikes this behaviour. Not staring. Frank takes your word for it. Perhaps Frank was being presumptive. You're very good with expressing yourself, Frank. Frank only pawned in game of life. However, Frank has taken responsibility for his own loneliness, and Frank has resolved to get out and make friends. So these guys that you find out in the world, you need to find a token for. And then you can go and talk to them. If you try and talk to them without finding the token first, they just ignore you. So like this one, I picked up doing that instance out in the jungle. Yeah. So as long as you subscribe the contract or however they phrase it. But I don't know whether it's really worthwhile. So I think one of the changes that was made in this expansion was the mercenary buffs were like evened out or something. So rather than being lots of different tiers, it's just like the different ones give you all the same buff, and the more you have of them and the more you level up, the better the buff. I don't have to. I can leave this one for now, maybe. I can always come back out at any point in time and hire him. So. Hey, Mahngavi. What's the free version of the game like? You never played EverQuest before? Never played EverQuest, huh? Yeah, there's a lot of content included in the free version. As the theory mentioned, 100 levels of content, many expansions, like 13, maybe 14 expansions are included or something like that, without you having to pay more. There are some limitations for paying for free. But it's not too bad. I think you can get a lot of hours out of doing it. Right. I have killed all of the stones. Before I go and do anything else, I'm going to go...
Of course you follow me. They all do.
I'm going to go back and speak to Crazy Necro Dude first and have that. Thank you for the follow as well, man. Yeah, definitely. I think once you've played through 100 levels of a particular class of character, then you get a good sense for how things work and order of what to do and things like that. So. Oh, okay. For some reason I thought he gave you another quest to go out to the other island. It's not. Bleak Dreams Bay. My dreams are not bleak. Yeah, I think some of the biggest limitations are you can buy things off the broker that other players have put on there. You can't sell anything yourself. I think there's a limitation on what chat channels you can chat in as well with a free-to-play account. It was basically done a long time ago to try and combat like anti-spamming and gold farming and all that sort of thing, where people just pick up a free account and spam chat channels and stuff. So that's where I think a lot of the restrictions originated from. Right, what am I doing on this island? Enter the accursed chantry. Hello? Clear the chantry of drowned ones. The drowned ones! That is actually very true. These days, most stuff on the broker is pretty damn expensive for very new people who don't have any history with the game. They're probably not going to buy anything off there anyway. We don't need to either. Look, you. I know you're going to turn against me, you bugger. Sacrifice ceremony is triggered. Thinks he can sacrifice me. What was that? What was that text? Rot was attempting to sacrifice me and turn me into one of the drowned ones of the accursed trantry, except it all went horribly wrong. And now we... What happened to his clothes? He turns into an angry NPC and suddenly he's naked. It's like, what? Did that happen in beta? I don't remember. Maybe it did. Or maybe I commented on the same thing, to be fair. It's not exactly the end of the world, it's just quite silly. Right, anyway, done. Now I have to go and hand all these quests in. Except he strips completely naked. I think it's some sort of fight club or something. Have a snack. Wagon wheel, anybody? Although if this was the wheel of a wagon, the wagon would be very, very, very small. These days they're more like shopping trolley wheels. Not so much wagon wheels anymore. I think they need a rebrand. Shall now be called trolley wheels or cart wheels. Yes. One that's not quite circular or something. Got like a straight edge to it, I don't know. Ah, we can progress the signature line. get got some crystals for our house. A chest piece, which is now worse than the one I've got because of the solo zones we've been doing. Looks exactly the same though. So. Bonk Rot's notebook. Right. Is that a house item or a quest thing? Also a house item. And some legs. Again, now worse than the ones we got because of the solo zone stuff. Finished my cup of tea already. Alright, what do we need to do here? Hunt graveyard plunderers, use exorcist sanctuals on spectral bandits. Craft the scrolls, obtain muted sunstones by hunting bandits in the Cairnlands. Lots of things to do. Including picking up shinies. Yes. Now the most used flipping channel emote. The animated shiny. I was going to go and craft those 5 things, wasn't I? That is assuming I've got the fuels to craft it. That could be a problem. Oh no. That's interesting. It's only 1 fuel and not 5. Ah, I'm happy with that, although it's a bit unusual. And no rares required either. Excellent. One more. Bloody hell. I wonder if that is still bugged. It's a bit weird that each one of those things I've just crafted needed 1 hide each and 1 fuel, but 25 roots and 25 metals each. I've just burnt through like 125 flipping roots, making 5 items. It seems a bit mad, considering it just needed 1 hide. It's one of those things it's really hard to know what you do about it. Like, I don't... What was the intention, you know? It's hard to bug report something like that when actually maybe that was the intention of whomever created the quests. I don't want to presume that it's bugs when it could be that was the intention to actually use a lot of materials. I don't know. As long as it's not rares, I suppose it's not too much of a problem. I mean, there does seem to be a good amount of nodes around to harvest, you know. To mention rares, apparently, although not sure any of those were particularly useful at the moment. I think I must have got about 3 flipping rare roots and 2 metals just out of that little bit of harvesting. Could you not, please? Oh, another rare metal. Sorry, was my sound effects causing you some false excitement? Damn it! You. Grab a few extra medals while I was here. Right, what else we got to do? Graveyard plunderers. Bloody roots. Don't say as though bloody shinies. Because we say, yes, give me the... Oh. Give me the shinies. A non-kicking snake. I'd like to see a kicking snake, please. Replenishing a few roots. My foresting skill is just a little bit. 620 out of 625. Almost maxed. Quite. And with my trapping skill, I think, yeah. 617 out of 625. Those floating skulls are a pain in the butt to target. You did not find any quest items. No! I hate that message. Who'd have thought you'd find graveyard wanderers in a graveyard, if that makes sense. Dreadfell body farm. You ever need a spare body, this is the place to go. Sister Cropsilia of the Dreadful Coven is attacking, and then is dead. Before he even had a chance to read the text. Died too easy. When ridding the land of the grave robbers? Something that disappeared too quickly. Right, that quest is done. Still need to kill more bandits. It's finding the bloody things that are the problems. Discarded slipper. Okay. Wrath's version of Cinderella? I don't know. Any more for any more? We're doing 6 out of 8 for those. Seven. Well, one of you two are going to give me late, surely. Yes. Nice, that's that one done as well. And the third and final quest here is use the Exorcist satchels on spectral bandits in the Phantasmal Shades. Oh, that's in the instance, isn't it? Yeah, that's the instance. Okay, we'll hold off on doing that particular quest. Might leave that one till tomorrow. Do some of these others first. Set the vampire snare at the southeast corner of the Forlorn Cemetery. Burn the arcane bone fetishes in thornborn wood and decaying roots. Set the trap! Pace the area around Vampire Snare to spell the wander round. It says pace the area. Round and round and round and round and round. There we go. It's Mr. Tavian Faust, everybody. I cannot attack you. Why do I not want to? You are under a spell. Eternal servant of the Master. The blood of Mistmore command. Oh, the dreadful coven are actually working with Mistmore. Cheeky buggers. The legends of Mayong, this many men and women encounter. I need to be met with. legendary reward for that quest. Oracle's Ring of Foresight. I suppose really I should replace the Abyssal one for now. Gets rid of another chest item. I have many more of those abysmal flipping items left to get rid of, to be honest. Or one earring, one charm. That's it. Yeah, just the earring and the charm to get rid of. Into the Mahngavi Wastes, Phantasmal Shade. There we go. So now we have 2 quests to do in a Phantasmal Shade. So, be nice and optimal. Before we do that, though, we do have 2 other things to do. Burn the arcane bone fetishes in Thornbone Wood and Decaying Copes. Which is that island down the bottom there, I believe. But before we do that, do we have everything we need to make this cool stuff? Thanks. We not get critical failures though. Crafting expertise shines through. Yeah, of all the recipes to get that with, this one probably wasn't the ideal one. Wait till you see the end combine. Oh god. Don't taunt me with such things. Oh, is it? I don't really remember what all the combines were from beta, if I'm completely... Sort of clicked through them all, making sure they worked, and that was about it. I've reported a few things that didn't, or that seemed completely bonkers in terms of resources. Right. Done diddly diddly done. The zombie peasant plushie. Enter Renfrey's basement. Excellent. So that's going into Forlorn now, so I think we can probably ignore that one for the time being. Let's go down to... Oh! Yes, this one. Burn the Thornborn Wood. We'll do the witch tracker. I was at the crafting station in the basement. Oh yeah. Yeah, I did that quite early on, didn't I? So it was easy and actually really quick to do. I was quite surprised if I remember rightly. It actually received a lot of updates after I finished it. Suppose we'll probably do what we've been doing and wait until the adventuring kind of gets into Forlorn, and we'll do the crafting stuff in there as well. Though, I'm surprised actually, because now that quest is done and it's sending you into Forlorn, I thought I'd be able to fly in here. Don't know what quest. Seems weird to have to complete the Forlorn quest to fly in Mahngavi, but I guess so. It's not really a problem. Most difficult zone in the world to get around. Ironically easier when you don't have a mercenary following you around as well. This bench again. Do you not think? Maxed out foresting skill. Maxed out mining, maxed out gathering. And maxed out trapping. Excellent. As usual, just the fishing that's lagging behind. When is it not? I think my fishing skill's like on 510 or something like that. It's too far behind, but it is definitely behind. Slay dreadful gravestalkers, slay dreadful necrocrafters, and slay dreadful mortifiers. I assume that's all. Another of those repeatable quests we may as well do at least once.
Must you aggravate me so?
Prepare to face your doom. Oh, I don't need these anymore. We do. 4 more Gravestalkers, 2 more Neocrafters. Sometimes they just spawn completely randomly, so sometimes they just kill everything anyway. And to God, the right thing spawns. Almost there. Prepare to face your doom. 2 more Gravestalkers. We're done. To face. 1. One. What? I loot some of these boxes. Next, Valentine's, or whatever we call it in game. All of the loot boxes in game should get turned into these purple versions. There's a small chest, treasure chest, an ornate chest, and then an exquisite chest at the bottom, you see? They're already there. Artwork done. It's a shilling there. Hey! Knock me on. Oh god, it's all gone wrong. Oh no. Survived. That bloody werewolf again. Come back here. Wait. Like an infected witch ran towards the area surrounding the ancestral crypt. They must be slain. Oh god, I've got to find them again now. Oh no, there he is. Carpenters can make him as house items. Ah, stinky crafters. I still think it'd be cool to do themed loot chests. Yes, this quest again. Again, this is one of those things that actually got changed after we did it last on beta. What? This was never... Oh, it's a way of changing between the wastes. It's weird, it's got some grayed out options and then it's got enter the crypt and it's just a... You don't actually go into the crypt, you just go back to one of the other wastes. Interesting. That's different, you couldn't do that before. So... We're basically looking for a Lycan. Somewhere around here. Somewhere. Could be anywhere. Say, I think it got changed since I last did it, so that the area in which you needed to search was less. I don't know how many other people were doing the quest at the same time, though. That door's not clickable. There he is. It's actually relatively close to where I found him on beta, to be fair. A little bit further down the road and around the corner. He was round here on beta, I think. I stood here. So, not really that much difference in the grand scheme of things. Yep. Found, killed, done. Moving on. It's one of those ones you know what you're looking for, though. It's a lot easier than when you're looking for it the first time and going, what the hell am I doing? What is this? You like a Grizzly Dreadfell Totem, a Vile Dreadfell Totem, or a choice of weapons you can't use? Okay. That seems like a really weird mishmash of things, like 2 house items and 2 weapons. Like, what? Why is that a choice? Surely it should be either all weapons and one that everybody can use, or all house items? Or maybe both. Maybe you get one house item that everybody gets, and then a choice of weapons. That would be a better option. This seems weird. I mean, they're only treasured weapons anyway, and I can't use them, so I may as well go for one of the house items. Oh, and then if you just do it again, you get a choice of just the house items. There you go. Achievements wise, how are we doing on the quests front? No guts, no gory. I remember that's probably in Forlorn, I suspect. Undoing Draka damage. What are some things here I've missed? What have I missed and are they in Forlorn? That one suggests it's in the jungle, undoing the Draka damage. Or is it one of those quests that you can only do once you've finished a signature? There are a few of those. Or it's possible I just completely missed a quest out in the jungle. Otherwise, I don't have enough time today to do the Phantasmal Trades instance. So we'll leave that till tomorrow, I think. Just going to very briefly pop into Forlorn to speak to Renfrey in his basement. Just to progress that to see where we go with it. I won't pick up the adventuring quest just yet. I'll leave that until we actually finish the Mahngavi wastes. Yes, yes, Renfrey I am, and I am Renfrey. Schnarf Gobblegup. Say what now? I think you were supposed to read it, not eat it. I needed the fibre. Which is important, I can send another. Oh. Looking for a messenger who tried to deliver a copy of this message to you already. She seems to have gone missing. Messenger came through, but without a message. She was a bit banged up and acting oddly. Said she'd lost the message and wandered off. You'll not be safe with the locals, but I can ask around if you can help me with a couple of things first. Crafting and defense. Defense and crafting. Craft from the branch of the far seas, you are a crafter, right? Oh, we got the old fuel merchants in here. I never quite understood this merchant. It's a bit of a weird one. Random house merchant that sells nothing but house items. I think. Oh, does she? For when you're doing the weekly quest and Renfrey's one later to begin with. Gotcha, gotcha. I feel like that's probably her primary purpose, and the furniture is just a bit of a side thing just to give her something to sell otherwise. Well, also keeping the decorators happy and giving them something to... I actually intend to do this crafting, but here we are. Yeah, it's like, I'll just do that. Oh. Ah! Sneaky recipe is sneaky with its needing a rare. Thankfully, I have 2 of them in my bag, apparently. Christ! Johnny, where is she? Where's my girl? Big ballistic rocket. Oh no! Myron's gobs. Turns out she'd been bitten by a werewolf after all. Oh, Myron. Right. I'm going to leave it there for a sec. What am I meant to tell that stupid little kid that we were helping right at the very beginning? Stop now where you get... Well, yeah, basically, that's it. I don't think I need these, do I? Where is the messenger? Where are the wares at? That's the one we just... Oh no. Required. Okay. Yeah, I think I'll leave that crafting one there. Because I think he then sends you outside, doesn't he? And starts, you have to run around and pick up all those bits off the floor. So we will do that at some point, just not yet. What did we actually get for finishing the previous quest? I wonder if I can now fly out in Mahngavi. Let's go and find out very briefly. It says, yes, excellent. Speed up the last of the adventuring stuff I need to do out here. Cool. Right, well, I think I'm going to call it that for today. Managed to get a decent chunk of stuff done. All the bits we don't need.
Greetings, friend traveler. We have the finest supplies.
A few bits and pieces to stick on the broker. Not that I imagine I'll be... I've barely sold anything on the broker recently. Right, yes. Thank you all very much for joining me. I shall be back on at the usual time tomorrow. Where I guess the first thing we will be doing is the Phantasmal Shades solo instance out in Mahngavi Wastes. So we can get progressing on those two quest lines. Until then, you'll have a fantastic what's left of your weekends, and I shall catch you tomorrow. Adios.